Time to get serious. You've got to get serious about learning Japanese. Japanese is like a job. You gotta work it every day. It's not a game. Welcome to Japanese from Zero, Course 2 or Book 2, depending on how you're studying with us. We have a couple ways to do it. This is lesson 11. We have literally one more lesson to go before we complete this actually one of the thickest books. I mean, out of all the books, this is the second thickest. Book 4 is like massive. The purple book is like, it's massive. Look at this. This is crazy. Anyway, we are coming to the end of book 2, and we are going to finally introduce the pseudo-verbs. We have talked about SURU, which means to do. We've talked about it a couple times. We've even conjugated it because it's one of the rare irregular verbs. So we already probably know how to conjugate it. We're not going to go through that. And by the way, in this lesson, you need to know shashu, sho, mya, mu, myo, and all of the other compound katakanas. Now, unlike hiragana, in hiragana, this is where it would have ended. But because katakana uses sounds that don't exist in the hiragana set, there's a set that we call unique compounds like T and D, which are words that don't happen in hiragana. So there is one more lesson, and then you'll be done. After you learn the unique compounds, you'll know all of the katakana. I'm very excited for you, and I'm proud of you. Even though we make fun of each other every now and then, even though we play and we laugh, I'm proud of you. Let's do some new words. Very simply, we need to know this word, suru. Now, it says in English, to do and to play. Suru can mean more than that. It's whatever makes sense in English for the most part. For example, when I get to it, I'll explain it to you again. But for example, sometimes it would be weird to say do. Play would make a lot more sense. Even though there is a Japanese verb to play, which is asobu. Asobu means to play or to hang out. It wouldn't be used in some of the contexts we're going to use today. It would be unnatural to say it that way. So this is the problem. This is 100% the reason why you don't use a dictionary to study Japanese. Dictionary is a tool. It cannot be the way that you learn big concepts or even usage, because a dictionary is dumb. It's not intelligent. It doesn't know any culture or usage. Okay. Another word is renshu. Renshu means practice. Renshu is very important. Benkyo is study. And something that I kind of don't like. Sports. Never liked sports. Sports ga suki janai desu. More than suki janai desu, I womi say it's kyomi ga nai desu. Kyomi, nice word. Interest. I don't have any interest in sports. Sports ni kyomi ga nai desu. It's a little bit of an advanced sentence, but I think you can figure it out. All right, so we're going to work with pseudo-verbs. And this is very simply, I left the air conditioning on again. I apologize. You're going to hear this sound. We've already started. Can't stop it. We're going to learn how to make a bunch of new verbs with suru. Suru will become the number one verb that you know. So even though it's irregular, and it's a very, out of all the verbs, it's one out of maybe 2 or 3 verbs that are irregular, there are so many verbs that are pseudo-verbs that essentially makes a ton of irregular verbs, but they all conjugate with pseudo, right? So a lot of times you could consider them as a pseudo-verb. They're just a pseudo-verb, okay? And the way it works is you add a word plus o suru. Now, this o can be there and it doesn't have to be there. Sometimes it feels wrong to not be there, and most times it doesn't feel like it needs to be there. We'll talk about it. So for example, if you want to say practice, to practice, renshu o suru. Renshu o suru, to practice. Or renshu suru. Both mean to practice. Benkyou o suru. I mean, in our book, I think we put it in parentheses, the o. It's optional, okay? Benkyou suru means study. Like we know how informal verbs work. If you say, kyou benkyou suru, I'm going to study today. You don't have to have the o. Kyou benkyou o suru. Kyou benkyou o suru. Benkyou o suru. Kind of all. It's so similar sound from benkyou をする, it doesn't even feel like it's there most of the time, even when it is. 勉強する, 勉強する. Okay? To study. スポーツをする. Now, it doesn't make sense in English to say do sports. Japanese people will make the mistake and say do you sport or do you it's possible to say that. That doesn't sound right. We say play sports. But you would never say スポーツを遊ぶ. That is wrong. But if you are a dictionary learner and you don't have a structured way of learning, you would think that sounds right. And hopefully, if you're lucky, you'd only make the mistake once or twice before you caught up. Before you figured out that it was weird to say スポーツを遊ぶ. It's スポーツをする. Okay? For example, you can play soccer. サッカーをする. Any sport is something をする. Right? And we learned a bunch in this lesson. We learned baseball and I think football and tennis and all sorts of things. Maybe not tennis. We also learned the word 食事. 食事 means a meal or dinner. So even though we know how to say 食べる, 食事をする is used a lot to say to have dinner. So in this case, you wouldn't say it's do dinner. You wouldn't say it's play dinner. It would be have dinner. But if you didn't follow some sort of source helping you out, you might think that 食事がある means to have dinner. Oh, what are you doing right now? Right now, 食事がある, which means I have dinner in English, but it's wrong. They never would say that, okay? So it's 食事をする, to have dinner, okay? And in this case, this is one of those cases where it feels wrong to say 食事する. For me, personally, it feels better to say 食事をする, okay? Here's an excellent one. This is a really, really good one. 質問をする. To ask a question. Here, する, you would never make it do a question. You'd never make it play a question. It would never be have a question. It's ask. Even though we learned how to say ask, you can 質問を聞く also. 質問する is the act of questioning. So I'm questioning. I'm asking a question. You can say 質問を聞く. 質問を聞きます. I will ask a question. 質問をします. I will ask a question. No meaning difference. Same exact thing. 買い物をする. 買い物 means shopping. 買い物をする means to shop. Okay? You might even hear Japanese people say ショッピング. ショッピングをします. ショッピングしました. I shopped. If you have an English verb, an English word in Japanese, you can throw する on it and make a verb, and most Japanese people will understand. All right? We know that phone is 電話. So if you want to call somebody, you can say 電話をする. Even though there is another verb to place a phone call, it's 電話をかける. But you could do this 100%, no problem, 100% natural, saying 電話をする. All right. And now that the air conditioning has gone back on again, and we can have this lovely hum back in the room, we'll move on. All right. So let's look at something with pseudo-verbs. Let's talk about that O particle for a second. There's a rule that I want you to know. It's not really an official rule, but it always works. With pseudo-verbs, you can't use O twice. This will help you out. Never use it twice, okay? The first word in the entire verb is the one that's going to have the O after it, okay? Let's explain that for a second. For example, study is 勉強する, right? But it can be 勉強をする. I'm going to do study, right? Or to study. 勉強をする. But if you're going to study Japanese, Japanese is the object of the verb. 日本語を勉強する is never 日本語を勉強をする. It would never have two O's, okay? And typically you're going to say 日本語を勉強する. The O will be gone, okay? What if you're going to practice guitar? Guitar. So we know that practice is 練習をする or 練習する. ギターを練習する means to practice guitar. It would not be ギターを練習をする, and it almost never is going to be ギター練習をする. It makes no sense. It's weird. But We can completely get rid of the O sometimes. There's some times where this happens. For example, no can be used sometimes to connect the verb word and the thing that you're verbing. For example, 日本語の勉強をする. 日本語の勉強をする. That means study of Japanese, right? I will do Japanese study. The verb itself is Japanese study, right? I'm Japanese studying. I'm studying Japanese, but it's 日本語の勉強をする. It's a very common thing to say. And same thing with that last thing with guitar. ギターの練習. The practicing of guitar, right? It's in English. It's the same thing. It's still I'm gonna study Japanese or I'm gonna practice guitar. Same thing. All right. Let's do some more examples. Let's kind of put together what we already know. Let's say, how would you say, what kind of sports do you play? What kind of sports do you play? Or what kind of sports do you do? I think that doesn't sound wrong. どんなスポーツをしますか? どんなスポーツをしますか? How do you say, I play tennis. I play soccer and tennis. I play soccer and tennis. I play neither of these, but let's just say I did. サッカーとテニスをします. サッカーとテニスをします. Okay? Now, informally. Next one is informal. How would you ask, did you do yesterday's homework? Not, did you do homework yesterday? It's, did you do yesterday's homework? Informal. 昨日の宿題をしたの? Or 昨日の宿題したの? Remember, they drop this O sometimes. It's not a huge deal to drop it. Typically, when you learn something new, it's not a good thing to learn right away that you can drop it. But in informal, especially, these things get dropped. Because what is informal casual language? It's shortened. It's almost always a shortened form. I don't think you'll find a language normally that when you get to the informal casual states that it's longer. It's normally shorter. Okay, and that's exactly what it is. 昨日の宿題した? You can just say that. 昨日の宿題した? Hey, did you do yesterday's homework? If I want to say, did you do homework yesterday? The no would be gone. 昨日宿題をしましたか? 昨日宿題した? That would mean yesterday did you do homework. That homework could be the homework from last week. Or it could be the homework that's due 2 days from now. But when you say 昨日の宿題, it's specifically the homework from yesterday. Okay? Very important. Yeah, I did it. Now, just because someone is speaking informal to you, now someone that's above you is going to speak informal to you more times than not because they're above you, but you still have to talk up to them, talk polite to them. So you're not going to say, "Hi, stop." You're not going to say that. はい、しました. If your teacher says, 昨日の宿題した? Did you do yesterday's homework? はい、しました. Yes, I did. You must say to them in polite Japanese in must form. Okay? All right. How would you say, with who were you on the phone? Or who did you call? With whom were you on the phone? We haven't learned anything that sounds remotely like that, but we do know how to say it. Like, on the phone, we don't know. We don't know that. We don't know, we know with who. We don't know with whom. It's the same thing, though. It's English that has the two different versions. All right, so, what is it? 誰と電話をしましたか? 誰と電話をしましたか? With who did you do telephone? Who did you telephone with? Sounds weird, right? The better your Japanese gets, the more skill you have to get in converting the Japanese into natural English. Both sides, it's like a teeter-totter. They need to be evenly natural, right? You would never say, with who did you do telephone? That makes no sense in English, right? So even though we're saying do in Japanese, in English we're saying, who were you on the phone with? But you can't say denwa no ue on the phone. You can't say that. You can't say denwa ni on the phone either. You can't do it. Even though it directly feels like grammatically correct, it's not. is not grammatically correct, right? This is why you study Japanese. This is why sometimes you'll have a problem with immersion. There's certain things that you learn in immersion that you can't get from a textbook. There's a lot. But there's also a lot that you can get in a textbook or from a video on YouTube or from someone that knows it already that you won't get with immersion. If you've ever done Rosetta Stone, Rosetta Stone tries to force immersion, okay? They show you a picture of a dog, a cat, a horse, and a pig. And they'll go, neko, and you randomly click, right? And it'll go, ping pong, and you got it. So then you know neko, right? Then the next one, they'll show all the same pictures again, and they'll say, inu. And you'll be like, okay, it's not neko. We know we can rule out that one. And that's good. It's good for flashcards. It's excellent, fun. But eventually they'll say, inu wa table no shita ni imasu. And you don't know what that means because you never learned it, right? Or it might be otoko wa. This is what it was, I think. Otoko wa table no shita ni imasu, which means the boy is under the table. But you don't know if it means, oh, is the boy hiding? You don't know. Is the boy getting abused by his father and this is how he's getting protected? Is it raining and he's trying not to get wet? You don't know because there's zero context. And this is the problem I have with Rosetta Stone type programs, okay? So what I like to say is, now you've heard the phrase, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And that is true sometimes. But sometimes an explanation is worth 1,000 pictures. I can explain to you a grammar concept that you'll get right away without going through 1,000 pictures on Rosetta Stone and being frustrated that you're doing And because Rosetta Stone is so expensive, everyone thinks it must be amazing. And the FBI uses it and the CIA uses it. But if you talk to anybody that's used it, including myself, I did it with Russian, it's not that effective beyond flashcards for me. And I did this one thing. I was in the airport and I trolled at the Rosetta Stone booth. They had like a little kiosk set up, and I acted like I didn't know any Japanese. And I went up, I was like, oh, I'm really looking to learn Japanese. And I picked up the Japanese when I was looking, and I said, this is really cool. So can I learn to write and read Japanese with this? He goes, no, it's just speaking. Oh, okay. Well, I know that Rosetta Stone's a really huge company. It's owned by Fairchild, I think is the name of the company. So it's a really big company. Like, how many teachers do I have access to? Oh, you don't have access to teachers. Oh, is there interaction in a forum where, like, if I have a question about that lesson, I can talk to somebody, right? Like the other students? Like, no. I was being a dick. Oops, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that because sometimes children watch this. I was not being a nice guy. I knew what I was doing. Sorry. All right. So, 誰と電話をしましたか? Who did you talk with on the phone? Who were you with on the phone? I called to my father. Now, we could say お父さんと電話した, but I have a different answer. I wrote, to my father I called. We don't know this yet. And little by little, I'm going to start introducing things that you might not know. And I want to see if you can get it. So how would you say, to my father I called? お父さんに電話した. お父さんに電話した. You can probably figure that out. Even though we don't know ni in this particular usage. We know it as to a location. Well, your father theoretically is a location in this case. You called to him. Okay? All right. Here is a very, very long sentence. I'm going to put it up on the screen. I want you to read it out loud. I'm not going to read it to you. I want you to try to figure out what it means. All right. 月曜日におばあさんと買い物をします。一緒に行きませんか? This is really, everything in here is all of what we've done in course 2. I mean, a lot of it. Like, without everything we've learned, you wouldn't be able to understand this. So, 月曜日に, and course 1 even that. 月曜日におばあさんと買い物をします. I'm going to be shopping with my grandmother on Monday. 一緒に行きませんか? Won't you go with us? I've invited them to go with us. Very nice, right? And the guy says, oh, I'm sorry. Forgive me. Now, we've learned this as a phrase. We've never done it in the videos. It's in the book somewhere. I'm sorry. Because I have work, I can't go. How do you say that? I'm sorry. Because I have work, I can't go. ごめんなさい. It's not ごめんなさい, by the way. It's ごめんなさい. Make sure you hit the end. ごめんなさい. 仕事があるから行きません. Now, we don't know how to say I can't go yet. That's coming up very soon, and it's not hard even, but I don't want to pressure you with it right now. It's not hard, and that would be the more natural thing to say here, right? I can't go because I have work, but we're going to learn it soon enough. Or someone will very politely post it, I'm sure, in the YouTube channel for you. It might be right, and it might be wrong. I'm not going to confirm it, but in course 3, we'll learn a lot about that. I'll see you in the next video. We're almost done. Good job. See you in the next video. じゃあね。